team, which country you're rooting out for. And of course, once again, if you see any codes on the screen, please do take note of them, or perhaps even write them down on a piece of paper or even on a notepad and input them in www.reward.ff.garena.com. And without further ado, let's take a look at match number 1 of B versus C here in Purgatory.
And a pretty standard flight path from north to south, straight down the middle. Expecting a couple of squads to end up in Brasilia, and whoever drops down is gonna probably be looking for their first blood. And it seems like there's a handful of squads trying to make their way down to that area. And Secret Woman would probably be the first team to land. Also, like Baby Argon, we also have Freedom Rumble as well. They are gonna be at the outskirts, so a bit of an open area. And if you are in the shoes of Freedom Rumble, you probably would want to quickly loot what is available around there and make your way to a safe zone. Whereas for Views, they would just take the corner of the map to start things off.
And in the meantime, it does seem like auto knockout Mr. D finds himself with a volley of lead all the way from the other side of the archipelago, only to be taken down by NBA Lore. And just like that, you wouldn't want to be taken down in that kind of scenario, but unfortunately, he did. Mr. D is now down for the count, and we are missing a couple of players in this game just within the first 30 seconds of the game starting.
Man, a rough start for auto knockout. The last round on Bermuda between A and B was not the best for auto knockout, and to start things off B and C by losing Mr. D, things are just going downhill for them. But Freedom Rumble, they're under heavy fire by Supreme Assault Forces, but Cobra Cops from behind from Freedom Rumble was taken out as well. But Insanity down on the ground, SAF moving into the vicinity of this territory of Freedom Rumble. They're trying to take things off, take this squad head on. One team was able to take down Joker, Freedom Rumble, losing out in members. What's going to be the decision? It seems like they want to fight as they do try to go for the flank, but Let's Go was able to catch up off guard. And now it's down to one remaining survivor for Freedom Rumble. Not going to make it out, SAF, with a full wipe, but they do lose Insanity in the process.
And it doesn't seem like things are looking to be it doesn't seem like things are going in a good path for the side of Freedom Rumble. And of course, on the other hand, SAF, with 4 kills to the name already, is pretty gonna be darn insane. And we've talked about the fact that Supreme Assault Forces doesn't really have a really good early stage of the game, or rather early doesn't really have good time yesterday. And today, it does seem like they are doing a little bit better. And of course, in the bracket of A versus B, it does seem like they do have a couple of kills here and there, and a decent amount of placement points. And now, with game number 1 of B versus C, it does seem like we should be able to see some difference from them.
Yep. And SEF, they have kind of been putting up better performances so far, but they kind of moved out from the hierarchy, right? Yesterday they were dead last, they were at the bottom of the barrel, but right now they have slowly moved themselves into the middle class. And no, it is fine if they stay there, at least for now, because we would be okay with them getting showing that kind of improvement. So I'm happy with what SAF is putting out so far. I just hope that, you know, with this round and the next round, which is going to be their final 2 rounds, they will be able to continue this consistent result. Baby Argon, though, going to take on, I believe it was, Secret Woman right across the street. And Cobra is going to start things off with a knockdown.
Doesn't seem like things are going to be efficient for the side of Move, because they already have one person knocked down. But fortunately, they did manage to go for a 1-for-1 trade, and thus Cobra being able to get that final kill and the lead thanks to that frag grenade. Baby Argon, though, Cobra found himself completely caught off guard by the opponent's side, so he's going to be promptly deleted by the side of Move. And of course, Jim with only a sliver of health. He did manage to get himself from out of all of that danger, though. But Baby Argon, I'm pretty sure that they do not want to mess with Move anymore, despite the fact that they are working with a 3 versus 3.
Yeah, and speaking about 3 versus 3, Baby Argon Cobra was able to score them a kill, but he was also sacrificed in the process, and this conflict is not going to end anytime soon. As Secret Movement, they are kind of starting to spread out. As Fikri pushing a bit forward, trying to look for Ajim. As if you are in Ajim's side, you probably just want to hide for now and find some space to regenerate, to recuperate, and that's exactly what he did. But Manflang has to be really careful though, because his position is very crucial to allow Baby Argon to continue keeping their territory control, and that's exactly his task. Geek Fam taking the zip line to cross over, and they're gonna drop down into the water instead of crossing completely just to throw their opponents off track. Baby Argon continuing the standoff against Secret Movement, but none of these shots are landing. So Secret Movement spreading out right now. It's going to give them more control over the compound and potentially surround Baby Argon.
And because Baby Argon, they're pretty much surrounded one way or another. In some sense, you can say about the fact that they surround Secret Movement one way or another, but because of the fact that they are closer to the western coast of the archipelago, definitely teams that comes in from the western island would come in closer and closer over to the side of Baby Argons more. But it seems like Baby Argons, they knew exactly what is at stake, and they knew that their position is not the best place possible because of the existence of the bridge. So they hightailed themselves out of there with a vehicle riding up north and got themselves out of Brasilia, while the rest of the teams coming in from the western island finds themselves at the coast for a little bit of a prolonged time due to some gatekeeping issues.
And it seems like SAF, they have kind of made their way into this compound as well. And this is going to complicate the issue for Baby Argon, because right now they already have to deal with Secret Movement, and to deal with SAF, it's going to make things even harder, and one team just going to go right in, try to take on Manflang alone. The shotgun is there, and he's not going to be able to land those shots just yet. Baby Argon though, Manflang paying back and getting a bit of a revenge, but it does not matter. In the end, Baby Argon still gets knocked out, and SAF will be able to reap a bit of that kills.
And I don't understand though, why did they only leave one of the members coming from Baby Argon to stay at the vicinity? They didn't really quite to get themselves, like the entire team of Baby Argon, out of the situation or out of the place, but just left one person there. Not the best idea. Or maybe he just didn't really have any choice at the point of time. So I would give that to Baby Argons if that is their decision making. But Wheels, they find themselves out of the place in Quarry as well, as they're trying to get themselves closer and closer over to the circle while we are looking at Auto Knockout versus Fast Kill MY. It does seem like Fast Kill MY definitely do have a little bit of that advantage due to the being at the top of the ridge, but the time turner is just going to be popped by Shura as well as the glue walls to protect himself from the rest of Fast Kill MY. Luckily for Shura, he'll be safe.
Yep, and so far, we are out of 18 teams. 7 teams have gotten themselves a booyah, so perhaps we will get the 8th unique booyah today. Fast Kill MY, they did put out an amazing performance yesterday. I think their first round, they got the booyah on their very first round. So that is going to solidify Fast Kill MY as one of the top contenders whenever Group C joins the fray. Supreme Assault Forces so far already have gotten themselves 6 kills, and they are one of the remaining survivors out of the surviving 10 teams. Unfortunately, right now in Brasilia, they are on the low ground. This is going to give them a couple of pot shots onto unsuspecting victims on the high ground, but they're not getting these angles. And in fact, it seems like Fast Kill MY, they are the ones reaping the benefits. They're taking the fight straight towards Auto Knockout, and they're winning those fights. Fast Kill MY has not lost a single member just yet, but Auto Knockout, they are suffering casualties, and Zen is completely isolated and trapped. And it's a matter of time until Fast Kill MY sniffs him out.
Fast Kill MY, they did not lose a single member, but for the side of Auto Knockout, it does seem like we only have 1 or 2 members just around the vicinity hiding away from Fast Kill MY, and that is definitely, it was Zen. He is all alone now, and he's just trying to make sure that he's able to stay safe long enough just to play for the placement, because understandably, if you're all alone while there's so many sounds going all about, you definitely want to be, play pretty safe. So Zen, he pretty much gets the idea The safest place is also the most dangerous place. And that is almost literally under the noses of Fastkill MY. They have scooped out the entire horizons. They're trying to look for people everywhere, but they just can't find the last straggler of the auto knockout player Zen. And thus, they're going to focus all of their aim onto Supreme Assault Forces inside of Brasilia.
And now we look at the 30 more seconds until we eventually have the second circle close in and proceed towards the third one. So far, the safe zone is more towards mainland. So the only team isolated on the southwestern side of a purgatory will be Wheels. So Wheels will have to kind of swim through. And in fact, we are seeing them on the map right now. They're trying to reach land. They just made it through the harbor and crossed that freeway. But in front of them, it's going to be STP, Son of Gun. However, if you're STP right now, you are also surrounded by a secondary squad from behind. So STP, Son of Gun, they're kind of caught in the middle, and they will just have to take on this fight. They have to pay attention to Views first, though. Views will be the more important team, because if they can stop Views from getting further into the safe zone, they will at least have a space to work with and to continue their journey into the circle.
Does seem like SCP would definitely want to get themselves out of there, and in the attempt of doing that, they just got knocked by DE. And we all know that DE, which is Do Easy, they do have really good marksmanship as well. So no matter how much you try to run away from them, you may not be able to do that. But STP being caught in between of Views and Do Easy is not gonna be the best thing to, it's not the best place to be at. And even if you want to run away from all of that, the best play is probably to allow time to go on, let time elapse, and of course use the circle to flush whoever is on the exterior away further. And in this case, it is going to be Views. Make sure that the circle pushes them away before you move away, because Naz as well as Ziha, there is no possible way for them to run out unless the opponents are too distracted themselves.
Yeah, and any teams who have that have gotten themselves, a place to stay in, a place to bunk down in the center of Brasilia, these teams are the biggest winners, because the circle literally has the entire Brasilia within its vicinity. So you can't expect these squads to not budge at all unless they are forced to, unless they are challenged. Of course, the standoff between FastQ and Y and Supreme Assault Forces will continue as FastQ and Y, they're also trying to look for the last member of auto knockout, and there we go. They found it. Zen finally eliminated as FastQ and Y now secures their control over the area, but you see where the circle is heading towards, a bit towards the northern side. So whichever team inside Brasilia, they have to completely abandon the spot and push into the open ground where GeekFam, Do Easy, and Views have full control to gatekeep the other squads from coming in.
It seems like whichever teams is going to be in Brasilia, they have to run. They literally have to run and get themselves to the main traffic, which is at the northwestern side of Brasilia. They can stay there a little bit longer, such as Fasco and Y, because they know exactly what is at stake. They can gatekeep whichever team is going to be at Brasilia, because we know that Brasilia is, understandably, one of the places with high traffic. So Fasco and Y, they got the kills on their sides. They have got the gameplay in mind, and that is to kill, kill, and kill. Make full use of the fact that they are close to the circle and also have the eyes on people inside of Brasilia. They did well. They managed to shut down a single member coming in from the side of Supreme Assault Forces, only to get themselves to the eastern side of the new circle, only to formulate a new game plan or strategy from that point onwards. And for now, the teams in Brasilia, they have managed to get themselves into the circle, but still within the reins of Brasilia.
Yeah, and Fasco and Y, like you said, making that rotation to the corner, to the circumference of the safe zone, but they are intercepted by two different teams. So Fasco and Y, they were able to stop Supreme Assault Forces from evacuating, but now they themselves are caught in a similar situation. So Stain is trying to just fend off those attackers, and they also have to revive Bat, which is exactly what they did. But VPH Velocity, they are pretty much nearby. So right now, with how the circle is, VPH Velocity will be the center point of this particular safe zone. The Fastkill MY, they have to find a way in, because you do see that there is this wall that separates Fastkill MY and VPH Velocity. So the only way to gain access towards the center is to wrap around the wall, which will put them in range of VPH Velocity's gunfire. This is not looking good at all. We have not seen Legends Rumble. This is going to be the first time we see them, and immediately is not off to a good start. Phoenix getting knocked down, but he was able to be revived. They are now caught in between this conflict between Supreme Assault Forces, and Secret Movement, and it's a pretty tight area. So one squad would definitely be knocked out.
One of the only places that really gives me some chills, that is literally the northeast side of Brasilia, because this small little corner of Brasilia is where everyone is just cooping up on, because this is the only place that have hard cover. And at this point of time, once the circle slowly closes out, they realize that this is the point of time that they need to start killing people. And at this point of time, Legends Rumble trying to go for the kills. They have a really good shot with the grenade launcher, but unfortunately, it is also one of their suicidal move, and they weren't able to get themselves away from the building as well as away from the zone. And thus, the conclusion of that fight, it does seem like it is a little bit scattered. We don't even understand what has gone on and about, but this is where things are definitely going to get a little bit chaotic, because the new circle is right smack in the center.
Yeah, and you can see Geek Fam, they're taking those pot shots on the views, and they actually eliminate views from this game. So Geek Fam, so far, they've started to claw back to the prime position, or to reclaim their rightful spot as the front runners of the leaderboard. They didn't have an impressive performance so far throughout the league. It's kind of like an up and down, a hit or miss. When you look at Geek Fam, it feels like you're rolling the dice every once in a while. But it's great to see, the formal front runners, or even you can say the formal champions, coming back to life. Do easy with all full 4 members alive. They're gonna try and hold off Fastkill MY. Fastkill MY, they're forced to run towards the open, but that is not going to work out, as Bayet will be able to gun down Yun, and suddenly Stain trying to back out his buddy with the glue wall as a protection. He will be able to do so, but as long as Bayet is here, has the window to provide a bit of gatekeeping, is pretty impossible for Fastkill MY to make it through. Supreme Assault Forces have been finally eliminated, as Geek Fam takes all the credit, as Bayet is single-handedly preventing Fastkill MY from proceeding forward. But Do Easy also knows they will have to reposition themselves, as the Man 04 was able to take down Zack. Geek Fam, if they get knocked out right now, Do Easy will have a great chance to nail that second booyah.
And at this point of time, Geek Fam with 6 kills, with only 2 of their members left, they really need to just try to reassign themselves in the place, or rather even relocate themselves, because they are right smack in between, or rather behind FSK as well as Do Easy. But now that the circle starts to shrink, we're looking at SDD. He just tries to go behind, or rather right in front of the enemies. FSK wasn't able to do quite much, but Geek Fam being shot by Do Easy from behind, they are all gonna be disintegrated at this point of time. Do Easy 4 kills, 3 members left, make that 1 member left, as all of them goes right down from a single Vector Akimbo.
You gotta be kidding.